I arrived at the hospital to meet my newborn, the nurse said, "Your partner already picked the baby up an hour ago." I don't have a partner. The words didn't make sense. I stared at Nurse Dana, waiting for her to realize she'd mixed up patients. But she just smiled politely and tapped her tablet like everything was normal. "There must be a mistake," I said. "I gave birth alone. No one was authorized to pick up my daughter except me." Dana tilted her head. "Oh, he was incredibly polite. He had all the correct paperwork, your due date, your ID number, your security answers, and even the baby's name." My stomach dropped. What did he look like? Tall, dark hair, wearing scrubs. He had a hospital badge and seemed familiar with the staff, she added quietly. He knew everything. I fumbled through my bag for the folder containing my birth plan, the big, bold section that said single mother, no release to anyone. Then I pulled out the restraining order against my ex-boyfriend Cade. Dana's face went white. "Oh my god," but he seemed legitimate. I didn't hear the rest. I was already sprinting down the hallway, calling 911 while shoving open the door to security. They sat me in a tiny office that smelled like old coffee and antiseptic. Footage loaded onto the monitor. A man in scrubs walked in through the maternity doors, carrying my newborn daughter like she belonged to him. He didn't hesitate. Didn't ask for directions. Had documentation ready when staff questioned him. Walked out calmly 20 minutes later with my baby. The security officer zoomed in. The man's face was clear, and I had never seen him before. "Who is that?" I whispered. The detective replayed the footage, watching the man's movements carefully. Finally, he said, "We ran the plates on the truck he drove away in. It was rented yesterday, in cash." On the screen, the man strapped my daughter into the back seat. She looked impossibly tiny in the carrier, so helpless. The detective's phone rang. He stepped out, then returned with a grim expression. We ID'd him. Recognized the name Marcus Hale? I froze. Cade's older brother. Marcus, quiet, clean record, worked in medical supply distribution. Of course, that explained the badge, the scrubs, the confidence. Everything clicked, and my knees buckled. Cade had been in jail for 6 months after the attack that sent me to the ER. I was the reason he was facing prison. Trial was in 3 weeks. "Has Marcus been visiting him?" I asked. The detective checked his notes. "4 times since fall, and your ex has been calling his mother twice a week." The detective looked up at me. "Did Cade know you were pregnant?" My hands shook so violently I had to sit down. "His mother knew," I whispered. "She kept trying to guilt me into dropping the charges." I told her about the baby. I thought it would make her understand. The detective closed his eyes. That was all they needed. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. The message made my vision tunnel. "You ruined my life. Now watch me ruin yours. Drop the charges by 5 p.m. or she disappears." Below it, a photo of my newborn lying on a stranger's couch, still wrapped in her hospital blanket. The detective traced the phone to a burner, but tracked Marcus's truck to a rural property 40 miles away, owned by Cade's mother. Police surrounded the house. Through a window, we saw Marcus pacing with the baby in the living room. My phone rang again. "Cade, calling from the jail. Drop the charges," he hissed. "Tell them you lied. Do it now or Marcus keeps the baby." My voice trembled. "Cade, please. She's 3 days old. She needs the hospital. She needs me. You should have thought of that before destroying my future," he screamed. "I gave you everything. You broke my ribs," I whispered. "You nearly killed me." The negotiator tapped my shoulder. Movement inside. "Cade," I said softly. "She's your daughter too." Silence. Then, "She's not mine. I know she's not mine. You cheated on me." "I didn't cheat," I whispered. "I left because you were violent." Silence again. Then crying. "I just wanted you back. I thought if Marcus brought the baby, you'd need me. You'd come home." Through the window, Marcus set my daughter down on the couch, hands shaking as he backed away from her. Then, he opened the front door. "Hands up. I'm sorry," he sobbed. "Cade said it was the only way. He said she'd go back to him if he had the baby." Marcus surrendered without a fight. Marcus received 5 years for kidnapping. Cade received 10 more, lost all parental rights, and will never see me or my daughter again. My baby is 6 months old now, healthy, safe, and home, where she belongs. Full story on the channel, link below.